Good morning to you. It's R&R in the morning, a Thursday edition. He's Rudy, I'm Rob. James in the upper left corner. Are you looking down to your left? That guy's RJ Ochoa. He's an editor with Blogging the Boys, a Rock the Mic champ, and a snappy dresser on top of that. Morning, RJ. How are you today?
Twitter legend.
I'm doing great. I am not as snappy of a dresser as Rudy and the people in his life, based on his Instagram story, though. I throw on a T-shirt and call it a day. I might get a haircut today, and that's really doing it the whole 9 yards. So we'll see.
I'll trade you my wardrobe for your 60,000 Twitter followers.
Because
that equals money. That equals money. My clothes can't get me no money.
I'm not the first person to make this comparison, but I love Twitter because it feels like the greatest sports bar in the world. You can hang out with people. You can follow who you want. So I'm just really happy to have a safe space to be emotional about the Dallas Cowboys and to take victory laps about believing in Dak Prescott. Rain Dakota proved everybody, some people wrong, some people, myself, right on Monday night, and it was quite cathartic.
We talked about it on Tuesday,
Rob.
and it's been kind of ongoing conversation that so many of the narratives were put to bed on Monday night. The playoffs, the road, the grass, the quarterback, the coach. What's going to linger? Is there anything that we thought was put to bed that will linger, whether we win or lose on Sunday or not?
I think that's a really good question, actually, because the idea that nothing does linger is false, right? It's all still real. It's all still in the past. I mean, I felt like Jesse Pinkman when he drives away in the series finale of Breaking Bad, but he's still Jesse Pinkman.
Right.
He still lived the life that he has at that point. I do think, Papa Roach said that the scars remind us, or that the pain is real. And I think that's the point, is that the pain is real, and the pain lurks around the corner. And I think, I'm not saying I'm pumped it's the 49ers. I'm terrified. I'm shaking in my boots. I'm losing sleep this week. But I don't know that reminder would be as staunch if it were the Eagles, just because the Cowboys have had success against them. Granted, in the regular season, the fact that it's the Niners is this just unavoidable reminder, and not only how precious this opportunity is, but someone can come into your house and kick your ass and embarrass you and force you to quit if you're not careful.
Can you tell me why they would bring in a kicker that the last time he played 6 games with the Chargers, he was 10 for 15 on PATs? How, of all the kickers on the couch, do you come to that one? And Tristan Vizcaino, how does this happen?
It's not a secret that the NFL is often a business of nepotism and familiarity and who you know. And so Tristan has been in the building, so to speak, right? So he kind of has.
So it's a rule of who, but he's 8 for 8 from in his PATs.
But we can't pronounce his name.
Yes, that's a good point too. I think, with all due respect to Tristan, and I hope he's paid handsomely.
Yeah, me too. Whatever.
For what this winds up being, I think you need the guy that Joey was to Monica. You need the guy to come in and pretend to get fired, right? So that you can make a show of it.
I think that's what it is.
Really,
well said. But before we go down this part, what would be the breaking point with Maher? 5 missed extra points. I know you've been with us and you have bad days. When does a bad day become the end of a season? I mean, what would in your mind would have been enough to say, dude, you just can't play? Or would there have been enough?
I think we did see that. I think we saw it on Monday night specifically. I think the fourth down attempt that was a easy touchdown was clearly okay, we're cool here. You can kick this extra point though, right? We're fine with this. I don't know what the proverbial over under is. Is it a half, right? If he misses the kick on Sunday, do you pull him? And that's where we will know the perfect answer to this plight on Sunday night,
right?
Because I thought yesterday, well, do you activate Tristan? And in the event that Maher shanks one or pushes one, you do not want to be in and the Cowboys have literally been in a game in San Francisco without an active kicker and had to turn to Jeff Heath at the time, and
he's gone. Is there anybody else on the roster that we could put a shoe on?
No, it's technically possible, but and here's the thing, this is reckless enough, like in general, no matter who you're playing.
Right.
But this is the divisional round. Like people refer to this as the best weekend of the NFL season. We might wind up with 4 one-score games. Like it's that kind of thing. And so, do you really want to tempt fate? I mean, like this is truly you hired the dudes you did to kind of go with their gut instinct, and you hope and pray that it's right. You hope, and I mean, like the story's there, right? Like for the opportunities there for Maher to hit the game winner on Sunday, and for everybody to carry him off the field as they march towards the NFC Championship game. It's terrifying, but it's supposed to be. It's supposed to, make you want to vomit. That's at least how I feel.
I'm disappointed in you, RJ, because I do feel like you're a realist when it comes to the Cowboys, and you destroyed them all preseason long for some of the moves they didn't make. So I know you're not just the homer guy. I don't take you for that. But for you to set the bar so low for Dak, a great game in a wild card round, I felt like you being one of the realists that I can come to, Rob being one of the realists I can come to, I thought y'all's bar for Dak was higher than a win over an 8-9 team in the wild card round. I thought you had a higher bar for Dak than that.
Incremental growth, man.
Think, yeah. Well, and I think you're diluting what it was.
Well,
I mean,
I'm not okay.
Like,
I'm not. If I did, I'm not trying to do that. I'm just talking about. I thought you had higher expectations for him.
I mean, like, and part of like the bravado, at least that I feel, is because they didn't win the way. I think if you're sitting here this week and you're like, the mighty Josh Allen slayed the Miami Dolphins last week, then I would be feeling a little bit inauthentic if I was that person. But I mean, Dak had the best performance of the wild card round. I mean, Dak he was a monster, and so that's the point. Is like,
okay.
The belief has long been that, like, when this dude is needed, when this dude needs to turn on, he does. And I thought that was exemplified in a very strange moment. A lot of people had a lot to say about Dak showing emotion after, I think it was the third Maher miss. And that is I can't think of a time that Dak has ever, let his emotions be visible like that, certainly in a negative way, certainly in a way that could be misconstrued to be negative about a teammate. And I mean, I'm admittedly reading a little bit into this, but it feels like Dak was so aware. No offense to Leighton Vander Esch or Zach Martin or Marcus Lawrence, but the win or loss does not impact their lives and legacies the way that it does Dak Prescott.
Absolutely.
And so you could kind of feel that Dak had a sense of frustration with Maher, like, dude, you are playing with my life right now. And it felt like he was playing with his life, and that's why he was, at the level that he was.
Well said. RJ Ochoa joining us as he does every Thursday for our Get Ready. When you look at the 49ers and the offense, and certainly the rookie quarterback and all the weapons they have, in your mind, what's the thing that needs to be taken away first to win?
I mean, there's a lot.
Yeah.
They are, they're the Lannisters, and they have deep pockets. They can do whatever they want, metaphorically. I think you have to take away the processing time for Brock Purdy. I mean, and it's, that's where this game is going to be won or lost.
Yeah.
If you can stifle him, if you can rattle him, and those are cliches or whatever, but I mean, it's not a lot of time that you have to get to him. But if you can, give yourself a chance. If you're going to this game and you're thinking we're going to cover, we're going to blanket Debo and Ayuk and Kittle, and we're going to you've lost. I mean, at that point, you are going to have to get in Brock Purdy's face. You're going to have to get his jersey dirty. This is going to have to be Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence and Dorrance Armstrong and Jonathan Hankins having the game of their lives.
I went on record saying today that right now, under this system, under this regime, offensive coordinator and Dak Prescott, Dalton Schultz is going to be the best tight end on the field this Sunday afternoon. And it's weird for me to say it, RJ, but he's a top 4, top 5 tight end in the game, maybe top 3, with Dak and with Kellen. I don't know what he would look like in another uniform, but under he's top 3, top 4 at worst.
Rudy, that might be my favorite thing that you've ever said, because I think it
wasn't
is a
easy
low-key underrated thing.
Yeah.
I mean, in his last 3 games, he has 4 touchdowns. I mean, and last week was a career high for him, not just in the playoffs, but in general, the 95 yards that he had. And the reality is, CD is hopefully going to make enough plays, your kind of standard, top receiver plays. But, I mean, he can't do it alone. I mean, and you have to – that's what we've been screaming for months.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have somebody – Michael Gallup kind of was that dude, but Dalton is that dude. And so I mean, if the Dalton Schultz catches 2 touchdowns, that does kind of feel like the point of demarcation. Like that is significant. Or that, like, if I could guarantee one thing, it would almost be that, because that would suggest that the offense is moving and grooving to a degree that they're having a lot of success.
Absolutely.
RJ Ochoa stopping by for his weekly. So, bowl prediction time.
Who you got, RJ?
I don't. It's so hard to like get to this point because it sounds like Homer-y and Disney-y, and that's not my intention. Like, it truly is not. I've sang that song. I've tweeted those tweets. I've done the "This is the year. This is why." Fate, destiny, it's smiling upon us. Whatever. This is not at all anything like that. But they're not supposed to win this game. Like, the people who make lines for a living believe they won't, for a good reason. But I mean, they have not been supposed to do almost everything that they've done to this point. They weren't supposed to win 4 out of 5 games with Dak Prescott. They weren't supposed to survive Tyron Smith leaving. They weren't supposed to still be the number 1 offense in the NFL with Dak Prescott under center without Amari Cooper. They weren't supposed to be right on Brett Maher. I mean, they weren't supposed to go down to Tom Brady's house and embarrass him. And again, I understand the 8 and 9 and a shell of themselves sort of thing. They weren't supposed to do it in blue jerseys on grass, and they weren't supposed to be in a situation where they're now in a short week because they play on a Monday night. And so they're the not supposed to's, and they're not supposed to win this game. And so I trust them more than I ever have, and that doesn't mean that I think they'll win, but it does mean that I think that they will give their absolute best shot, which we didn't see a year ago. And it might be enough. I mean, it might be enough. And all I know is on Sunday, they're playing for an opportunity that they haven't had in almost 3 decades. And so I'm going to pick them to win. And in years past, I've tried to convince myself that I'm picking with my head. But I'm finally openly admitting that I'm picking with my heart. This team has helped me kind of refine my heart throughout this season. And I'm comfortable living and dying with that.
It is such a different perspective to look at the Cowboys as the not supposed to's. When you think Cowboys, they're always the ones. You're supposed to do that. Yeah. You're supposed to be this, and you're supposed to be that because you wear a blue star. But this is the opposite of that. I appreciate the take.
Good answer, RJ.
Heavy is the head that wears.
But I'm gonna come down there.
Helmet.
If they lose, I'm gonna come down there and spend some time with you, though, because I know you're all the way invested in this team. Like you're all the way in, RJ. You're all in. You think they're going to Super Bowl. You do. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, but you're all in. So if they lose, I'm going to be concerned.
I tell you what, though, if they win this week, they are going to blast whoever they play next
I agree.
week.
Knock it off, man.
I agree with you. You know what, RJ? They win this week, they are in the Super Bowl.
Because they will have, like, every team since 2010 that has beaten Tom Brady in a playoff game, granted he's won a lot of Super Bowls just in that time, every team that's beaten him in a playoff game has at least made it to the conference championship. There is a natural, psychological, whatever stock you want to put in it, boost from beating Tom Brady.
I'm a fun fact guy.
Brady, then you go to Frisco, you slay the dragon, you get revenge, and not only you get revenge, you rekindle and relight the flame of historic. You went out there, maybe you call 896 F flat, you hit Alvin Harper, like the ghosts of Cowboys past come out and celebrate all of your accomplishments. And so, like, Tom Brady was the dude who owned them. San Francisco is the team who owns them. They own. Dak Prescott is 9-1 against the Giants in his last 10 games. He's 7-3 against the Eagles in his last 10 games. Whoever it is, who the hell are you? We went to San Francisco and beat the 49ers. Bring it on. Whether we got to go to Philly or you're coming to AT&T Stadium.
On that note, do you have any superstitions that you're going to follow on Sunday? Anything that you have to do to make sure they win?
I always, when I take it seriously, you know what I mean? Like, I got some gear.
Yeah. Like, you're not superstitious. You're a little stitious.
Yeah. But this week, gray Blogging the Boys T-shirt that actually the bulk was delivered to our house in Oxnard one year.
I remember those
when we got the flag and everything. So gray Blogging the Boys T-shirt, navy CeeDee Lamb jersey. And again, like, some of it is letting go of that stuff. Like, some of it is letting go of the supposed to. And like, so the supposed to is the superstitions and the whatevers, because it's like, well, last time we did this, we won. And I have a lot of fun with that bit, but I mean, like enough with that. Like, who cares? Like, we love Troy and Emmett and everything, but like, this is no longer, you're not doing it for them. Like, you're not doing it for anybody who came and wore the uniform before you. So like, who cares about go make a new superstition, go make a new tradition, something for us to wear in the NFC Championship game, because you finally got there after 7 times of trying.
That's RJ.
RJ. All right, man. Good stuff today.
Check his stuff. Blogging the Boys is where you find it. He's editor there, and you can catch him here every Thursday his regular. Hey, man, have a great weekend. Can't wait to talk to you next.
before the show ends, I want you to high five one another with your right hand. So right hand on right hand.
My man.
I don't high
Love
five
you,
during
RJ.
games. I don't high five. You get one. You get one high five. You got to decide when you want it. That's a high five to you, RJ. Take care of yourself.